Alright, what is up everyone? It is Silver here, and I apologize for this video being pretty late. This video was originally supposed to go up over the weekend, which I did announce in my Discord server. By the way, if you'd like to join a Discord server where you can talk with me and a bunch of people that also watch these videos, a link to that has been and always will be in the description below. Anyone can join, doesn't matter who you are, you can join. So, this video was supposed to go up over the weekend. However, there were still information coming out as people were still attending the Switch events where you could get a hands-on demo of Splatoon 2. So I decided to hold off a bit and see if any more information kind of trickled in from that, which is good because some information did in fact come from that, and some information that people may really be interested in hearing. So first off, I'm gonna have the video of the trailer playing. Now, if you watched or I guess listened to our discussion, you've probably seen this trailer many times. This is looped throughout the whole thing. So, basically what I'm here to do today is to do more of a personal one-on-one analysis where I give my thoughts on things and look at some of the things in the trailer that we kind of either didn't really cover in the discussion, or like we just went off on it, I guess. Like we just went into a huge rant about stuff a lot of the times, and also kind of got off topic a lot. So this will just be me doing an analysis of the trailer and some of the information we've gotten from Twitter and the people at the Switch events. So with that, we'll start the trailer. So immediately, the first thing you'll notice is that there seems to be a sign that looks like there's a new brand to the game. Now, we're assuming there's going to be quite a few new brands to the game, so that not everything is copied over. We already know from some of the gameplay footage provided by the people at the event that certain pieces of gear are returning, however they have different abilities, so that's already one thing we're going to note. The second thing is we get a small look at the new hub world, or I guess the hub area of the game, which is no longer Inkopolis Plaza, but apparently it's called Inkopolis Square, and it's supposedly a lot larger than Inkopolis Plaza, with more things to see and more things to visit. So that'll be exciting. Can't wait to see what kind of other things they throw in there. There's another picture later on, and that lets us see quite a few stores and some of the tweets provided by the only official Splatoon account at Splatoon JP, which will also be linked in the description. But be mindful they tweet in Japanese, but it is the only official Twitter account that Nintendo has in regards to Splatoon. So we get the first map we get to see, or I guess a detailed look at it, is a map known as the Reef, and this is the only map that was available at the demo for the Switch at the Switch events. This was the only map people could play on. People often, or like some of the people I see, are confusing this map with a remade Urchin Underpass, but this is in fact a brand new map that has nothing to do with Underpass. Someone said that the likelihood, the chance of the name Underpass or Urchin Underpass is coming from the fact that Urchin Underpass is a battle stage in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. So that might be some of the confusion or something. I don't know, but we get here a overhead look of the Reef. Now, there is quite a few gameplay videos from people such as Game Explain. I've seen some videos from people like Pro Jared as well. There's quite a few videos out right now on YouTube of people playing the demo at the Switch event. And I'll link a couple in the description as well if you're really interested in watching these clips. I would provide the videos while playing right now. However, because Nintendo has put a hard restriction on even those people to upload those videos, I can't exactly take the videos to begin with, because Nintendo might not be too happy that I used footage at all, seeing as these people are also limited in how much they could record. So anyway, after that long rant, let's move on. So we get a look at two other maps that we don't know the names of, and we only get a small little look at them with these people fighting on them. It does look with this second stage, there's going to be a bit more walls to climb here. It kind of reminds me of Bridge, I guess. I'm not quite sure how vertical the map is going to be, but it kind of looks like it's going to be decently vertical with some walls to climb and go down and all that stuff. This next map here also seems to have it looks like a bunch of ramps, and it looks like it's indoors, so this might be like sort of a skate, like a, I'm trying to think, I'm really bad with words, as you all can probably tell. Like an indoor skateboard area. I don't know the name. I'm really bad, but it looks kind of like if skate park was inside. Well, I guess there's the name. I'm bad, but yeah, it looks like it'd be an indoor skate park with a bunch of ramps and stuff like that and objects. Like I said, only a small glimmer, like only a small look at it. We get another little glance at probably what is the same stage later on. But I'd imagine this is probably another skate park, but it looks to be indoors and with a lot more ramps and elevation changes, which is really cool. I like one of my favorite maps in Splatoon 1 is Flounder Heights because of all the elevation changes, which makes it pretty interesting and allows other weapons that don't really get a chance to shine on bigger maps like, well, rollers for most part, can really shine on heights where they struggle in larger open areas because they're so obvious. Alright, anyway, moving on. We see that Moray Towers is in fact returning from the first game. Now, people think the reason why Moray Towers is coming back is the final Splatfest in Splatoon 1. They had a voting system in each region where you would vote for your favorite maps, and Moray Towers was a top 5 pick in every region. And people think that this is probably why it came back, and we might actually see some other maps that were also top 5 picks from every region come back as well. And I looked at it, and each region shared 3 top picks: Moray Towers, Kelp Dome, and Walleye Warehouse. So I guess those 3 maps are going to be the ones that return, and hopefully they don't pull a Mario Kart on us and just make all of the maps, like half the maps returning ones and half the maps a new one. I'd like to see more new maps. Alright, so here we get another look at what I'm assuming is that skate park map. But here we get to see a little demonstration of the charger's ability to hold a charge while they swim. Now, going off some information provided by people who played at the event, the charger can only hold a charge for roughly 2 seconds. If you hold a charge and swim around, your charge will lessen as you move, and in 2 seconds it's gone. So you can't like charge from your base, make it to the enemy spawn and fire it. No, it's going to be gone pretty quickly. So it's not to, allow chargers to get like every jumping or like every advantage on everyone. It's just so you can quickly reposition yourself. Next we get to see the dualies, which are becoming probably one of the most hyped weapons for this game because it's, well, the only new weapon class we've seen so far. A lot of competitive players are interested in this weapon, me included. I would love to see how this weapon plays, and I'll be getting into some information regarding this weapon a bit later. But we see its ability to dash. Now it's the only weapon that can do this, where you can get like this dodge roll-esque thing, where you go a little bit in a direction that you're holding. I'm not quite sure how much control you have over that, as no one has stated exactly how much control you get from it. And by what I mean by that is, like, if I were to hold forward and dash, I'd go forward, but if, say, I wanted to go into a precise direction afterwards, would I go in that precise direction, or am I locked to a certain direction? That's what I mean by full control. So we can see here that dualies are using their dodge roll to get up close with people, and then they get to this turret stance. Now this is confirmed by people that attended the event. The only difference between firing normally and in this turret stance is that you become more accurate while you're standing in this turret position, I guess. So next we get to see the new Seekers, which are called curling bombs, if the translation is to be believed. Curling bombs, what you would do is, like most people when they pull out a Seeker, they would hold it and try and lock onto someone. With the curling bombs, you actually don't want to hold them. You'd actually have to release them immediately. The longer you hold them, the faster they'll explode. So you'd want to throw one out really quickly, and they ricochet off walls and objects, so you can create little paths, and they won't just explode the second they hit a wall like Seekers do, which are pretty cool. And they gave the curling bomb to the splat roller. So the splat roller will have this curling bomb along with its new special we'll see here soon. So next up is the roller's vertical flick, which is the replacement for the jumping flick. Now, the neutral flick that you would see in Splatoon 1 now still does exist, however, it's only from a neutral position while you're on the ground. If you jump at all and flick, you become this vertical flick that basically creates a path vertically from where you're at. And this is, I guess, a better way to approach and get back into the map or something. It seems to be pretty good for killing as well, but it requires more aim than with Splatoon 1 where people would jump and flick and just pray that they eventually kill someone. This requires some aim at the cost of making yourself open and available to be shot by anyone. And if you miss, it's pretty bad if you miss. It's a high risk, high reward kind of thing, I guess. So they did confirm that flicking this way is in fact slower than flicking normally. So next we get to see what is the new map system, because you can't use the Switch tablet as like a gamepad, so you can't look down and see the map anymore. They decided to remake some of the controls to where pressing X will open up the map, and you get this overhead view here, and then you can super jump to teammates by choosing which one they are with the D-pad and then pressing A to confirm the jump. Now, if you're wondering what happened to the jump, well, jumping got remapped to B. So now if you want to jump, you press B. If you want to open the map, you press X. And to confirm a jump, like say if I wanted to jump to the guy on left D-pad, I'd hit left and then hit A, and I'd jump to them. There's also a cursor you can use, which is probably going to be used to jump to beacons. You can move that with the motion controls, and then you just press A to confirm. Next up, it seems like they, instead of having Judd be the judge for both teams, it seems that there is a baby version of him. So a lot of people are saying this is probably his child or something, but it looks like there is another cat that it shows up at the displays to, I guess, be the bad guys. So that's pretty interesting. Not quite sure. I'd like to see where that came from. It most likely is his child, seeing as they share very similar features. But who knows? Now we get the first look at one of the new specials. Now, the name for this, I believe, is Tenta Missiles, and it works very similar to, I guess, Ink Strike and Echo combined. You would pull out the Tenta Missiles, and you get this little reticle, and it would point out where enemies are, and you would lock onto them and fire the missiles. Now, the missiles would land wherever they were locked onto, and I guess some say they heat seek, but that's not really known, I guess. I haven't heard anything about that other than people saying they think. So if it and then it comes down on people and creates ink as it lands and does decent damage. People have said that you won't die to one missile. You have to get hit by a couple of them to die. Next is we get a look at what is probably the new bomb rush, but it looks like you are forced to be stationary as you bomb rush, so no more like swinging around and dropping bombs everywhere. You are stationary, but it looks like you get more range out of it. The next is a special called the Stingray, which is basically Killer Whale but really slow and does very little damage. You control it with the motion controls, and it's just a giant laser that you guide, and the laser is slow when it comes to following the reticle, and it goes through walls like the Killer Whale does, but it takes quite a few hits to kill and is not like an instant touch. Like if it touches you, you're dead. You have to get hit quite a few times. And it just kind of seems a little slow from the gameplay footage. I don't think it'll be too good. Plus, with how many times it has to hit, it's probably not going to be very good. And then now we get a look at a special that has no name yet and hasn't really been, hasn't have any information regarding it, but it is this rain cloud. And it looks like it covers the ground but doesn't do damage. At least from what we can see with this yellow inkling at the bottom, he is taking no damage from the rain, but it is in fact covering his feet. then we get a look at the jetpack, which is currently the special used on the dualies. You get a jetpack which we assume gives you a plus like X value to your Y coordinates, so wherever you go you'll always be that plus value to your Y coordinates. So say if you were on, like, say your Y coordinate is 0 and the jetpack gives you plus 20, well, if you fly over somewhere where the Y coordinate goes from 0 to 10, then you would go from 20 in the jetpack to 30 and something like that, if that makes any sense. And then you get your weapon gets replaced with what is similar to a blaster, where you shoot, and if you make a direct hit, you kill instantly, or it's 2 indirects to kill. Next, we get not really a decent look like with the other specials, but we get a look at the current Splat Roller's new ability or new special is Splashdown, where you jump and you create an explosion when you hit the ground and kill anyone that is in this bubble, or I guess kind of close to the bubble that it creates to indicate where this is going to occur. People are freaking out about this thing when it comes to stealth jump, saying that this is going to be a little overpowered. This is going to be really good in tower control, assuming it returns. But who knows? Like I said, it points out a bubble. It's going to show where this is going to happen, so I think people are going to be able to predict this and see when it's going to happen. Plus, with the mechanic that I'll explain later, you'll probably be able to start seeing this coming. So we get another small little look at the Inkopolis Square, which gives us what I'm assuming are a few more shops that we can look at. And I don't really know what to say here other than it looks like a few more shops. We know that there's going to be a new shop for extra clothes like pants, and there's probably going to be a new place where you can change your hairstyle as well. So we should expect to see some of those, and they may be what's in the screenshot. We also get to see that the Octolings return, so there most likely is a new single player, or this is like a reference to what people had been asking for in the sense of a horde mode, where you just go in and you just fight Octolings until you die. Who knows? No idea. And then we get this little small clip of Marie, which a lot of people have said that what she is wearing is typically worn at a funeral, and so people are questioning what the point of the clothes truly are, or I mean, I don't even know if I really trust the whole being like this is what they wear at or like Japanese people wear at funerals. I don't know, but yeah. So those are all the things that were from the trailer. That is the trailer itself with some analysis behind it. But now I'd like to go into some other things, like some of the tweets that Splatoon JP has been putting out over the weekend. Some of them, for the most part, aren't really too big, or just some of the things that I've covered already, like the dodge roll from the Splat Dualies and the vertical flick. But let's get into some that are actually important. So they did show off that pants are a thing, but the Splatoon JP confirmed that pants will not have abilities, and in fact are just for looks. And then they did announce that the Splatoon 2 does take place 2 years after the first one, so just 2 years have passed since the original game. They did announce that all previous weapon classes will be returning to this game. Now, for the people that use blasters out there, a friend of mine on Twitter named Tic Tac has pointed out that blasters are in fact referred to as shooters by the game, so that doesn't necessarily mean blasters are coming back. It's just that blasters fall under the category of a shooter, so it's not really confirmed that blasters are going to come back. Now let's get into some information that came from the people who played at the Switch event. So over the course of the weekend, people were able to go to certain locations. Mostly there was a couple in Europe and there was one in New York where you can play the Switch, and they had a hands-on demo of Splatoon 2. And here's some information that came out from that. Now, the big thing that a lot of people are in love with is the fact that the event seemingly confirmed that spectator mode is in fact going to be in the game. Now, one of the original things one of the first pieces of information that came out regarding this was a picture of a piece of paper that was telling people what they could and could not film at the event. And one of the things listed under Splatoon 2 was that you were not allowed to film the spectator mode. Now, a lot of the debate came out of that is if that paper is real. And if you listen to our discussion, you'll know that a very credible person named Shofu, who I think is a Smash player, don't quote me on that, I don't really know who he is, but he confirmed that the paper does exist and is in fact at the event, and it does say that you cannot film the spectator mode. But that didn't stop people from doing it anyway, and some clips of the spectator mode have appeared on Twitter, and it seems like, at least from at the event, it shuffles through people's perspectives randomly. Now, I'm thinking the reason why they didn't want you to film it isn't because they don't want you to provide that there is a spectator mode, but because they don't want people to think that that is the final version. I'm thinking in the future you'll be able to control who you're watching, or if you just want to watch the map. But spectator mode is pretty much confirmed, and it is a thing, so a lot of people are hyped for that. It would make tournaments for Splatoon 2 really easy to watch and really easy to commentate, especially because currently it relies on people being able to stream, and not everyone has the internet to stream, and not everyone has a capture card. So this will make tournaments a lot easier to host and commentate, and that is really good. That's something that we really needed, because there's been quite a few tournaments that wanted to do this, but couldn't do it for everything, or there were some teams that couldn't stream or anything, so it'd only be like a couple matches that actually got commentated over. And then next, they had the ability to play using either the Switch's handheld mode, which is where you're playing with the Joy-Cons on the side of the screen and using the screen as your TV. And then they got to use the Joy-Con grip, which is that controller that comes with the system that you attach the Joy-Cons to. That thing that's like a square with rounded edges. And then they got to play with the actual Pro controller. Now, from everyone that I've talked to that played at the event, they all pretty much say the same thing, and that is the Pro controller is the best, the Joy-Con grip is after that, and the handheld mode isn't worth playing. Which is understandable. The handheld mode would be very awkward to play because you're basically going to have to be using motion controls and moving around the screen you're going to be using as a TV. And I've heard that the reason why the Joy-Con grip isn't exactly interesting or fun to use is because of the placement of the second stick on the right controller, where it's in a very awkward spot to be able to reposition your camera easily with the stick or anything like that, and then having to use the face buttons. It's like the distance between the two makes it not very effective. But the Pro controller, which is very similar in design to the Xbox 360 controller, is preferred, and currently that controller is estimated at $70. So it's looking like if you're wanting to get into Splatoon 2, you're wanting to be a little serious, I guess, you might want to be able to cop out the $70 for it, or you can play the Joy-Con grip. They say it's still decent, but I'm probably gonna get the Pro controller. And then the last piece of information from the event is that this information was actually given to me by a Japanese friend and not anyone that attended any of the European or American ones, and that he says that at the core the game is very similar and the gameplay will be very familiar. He says that he was able to pick it up and play the splatter shot and play it just like you would in Splatoon 1, and that the core mechanics are basically the same. The only time the core mechanics changed is if you're playing something like the dualies, where they have the dashing ability, where it changes things up slightly, but at the core, the game is the same. So that's pretty much all the information we have currently, and that's pretty exciting. I'm really looking forward to this game. I'm really looking forward to playing the dualies. I'm really looking forward to the new maps. I can't wait for just pretty much anything. I'm hoping there is a test fire. Now, if you weren't here when that happened in the first game, the test fire was basically a limited demo they pushed for Splatoon, where certain days you could only play for an hour online, but you could play against anyone else in the world that was playing at that hour as well. And it was really good and a nice marketing idea, but limiting it to 1 hour was really painful, especially because out of the 3 prior to release, I was only able to play one test fire because I wasn't home during the hours that the test fire was happening the first 2 times. So I'm hoping a test fire returns and they'll give us more time, maybe an entire day to play, I don't know. I'd much appreciate that, Nintendo, if you're watching. But yeah, so another thing I've wanted to say is I've noticed, based on the gameplay footage from various YouTubers, that the specials seem very underwhelming and weak. Now, I can understand why. They've already stated that no specials will return from the first game, so things like King Stuka, Ink Strike, Echo, Bubble, Kraken, none of those specials will return, and the specials in this game are all new. So, which is good because, you know, Bubble and Kraken needed to go realistically, and now it seems like the reasoning behind the specials being very underwhelming and weak is maybe to push emphasis off of specials. So many people put too much focus on specials in the first game, like, you know, Kraken and Bubbler being one, Echolocator is another big one. I'm thinking the reason why they seem so underwhelming is because they don't want people to put too much emphasis on the specials as their means of doing things, but instead being an assistance to those things. So instead of like, oh, we have to have a Kraken, or we have to have a Bubble, or we have to have an Echolocator, it's like, okay, we could use that. Yeah, that's fine. I guess that'll work. I feel like there's less emphasis on the specials, but I don't know. I haven't played it. There are no events near me, so I can't play the Switch prior to release, which is unfortunate, but, you know, things happen. And the last thing I want to say is, it looks like the maps are larger in scale than Splatoon 1's maps. Now, this is kind of a big problem with the first game, is that a lot of the maps are pretty small. And it seems like when it came to making weapons like the E-liter, they kind of made a mistake where they made the maps really small and forgot that they had made the weapons range really long. And so there was a lot of maps where the E-liter just straight up dominated because it could cover half the map in one shot. And so it seems like they're kind of remedying this by making the maps larger, and so that the chargers don't cover as much, which might be, you know, the cause behind holding a charge thing. But if E-liters return, the maps are at least larger, so you won't be sniped halfway across the map by an E-liter, hopefully. But that's pretty much it. I've got nothing else to say, at least right now. At the time of recording this, it is the 17th of January, and I will be doing more information-based videos like this when we get more information. I probably won't do it for every small amount of information we get. Like, if we get a new tweet that has like one bit of information, I probably won't make a whole new video about it. I may like gather a bunch of information and do one like a recap at the end of the month or something. But I'll definitely be doing another video if we do get a test fire, and I'll be doing a lot of gameplay videos of that as well. Maybe just like silent gameplays or commentated matches, I don't know what I'll do. But I will be giving another analysis and thoughts if there's a test fire. We'll also be doing another discussion with my friends back when, like the one that happened the other day. We're going to be doing that again, assuming there's a test fire. So that is that. I want to appreciate everyone for showing up and watching this, which is going to be probably 30 minutes long after watching almost a 2-hour one from the other day. So I hope everyone is excited for Splatoon 2, and feel free to leave some comments down below if there's some things you want me to say, or like, because I actually want people to discuss things. I want to hear what you guys have to say in regards to the trailer, how you feel, and if you had watched the gameplay, what did you think of it? So that is that for me, and I will see you all later.